How's it going, everybody? It's Totally back here. I'm gonna do another mock draft video for the 2024 NFL mock, or I'm sorry, 2024 NFL draft. I did one a couple weeks ago. Um, wasn't as up on all the players as I should have been, but that was an early, it was an early segment. So, um, obviously, as time goes on, we're gonna learn more about these prospects and where we think they'll end up. But of course, you know everybody was way off, including all the quote unquote experts last year on where certain players would go. Like nobody had Jameer Gibbs obviously going in the first round, which was pretty crazy that the Lions took him that early. But it is what it is. Bijan got taken early, and he's the next best running back on the board. So they wanted to seal that up as quickly as possible, I guess. But um, so right now, obviously we're gonna do all teams. We're gonna do 2 rounds today. Try to make it a little quicker than normal. And we will put on drafting trading just in case we want to do anything. Um, the big talk right now is obviously the Chicago Bears have the #1 overall pick. It is the Panthers pick, but obviously they got it in the trade that they made last year for the Panthers to move up and get Bryce Young. Um, Everyone keeps talking about whether the Bears are going to trade Justin Fields or stick with him and build around him, or just take one of these quarterbacks with the first overall pick. And that's all them talking about that constantly is just trying to build hype. Okay, we know what's going to happen, or at least what should happen. And it's that the Chicago Bears are going to take a quarterback here and move on from Justin Fields. And the reason I say that is Justin Fields is not a bad quarterback. I think he can be successful, but look me in the eyes and tell me that you think that Justin Fields can lead you to a Super Bowl. Super Bowl. I mean, is he good enough to get you there? If you don't think so, which I don't think so, I think he's probably he's a mid-level quarterback. And yeah, sure, maybe with some pieces around him, they could make a run, but I don't see him, winning you Super Bowls here. Okay, so with that being the case, they're gonna want to find that next, Mahomes or Burrow or one of these top tier quarterback talents. Okay, and you might have looked into Fields, and you might have looked into Williams, Caleb Williams or Drake May or any of these guys, and you might have said that Justin Fields was a better prospect. Um, could be the case, but we know how that is. Okay, people evaluate these prospects all the time. We had people out there saying Zach Wilson was going to be a good quarterback. Okay, so you never know what you're going to end up with. You never know what you're going to get. But I'd rather take the chance on finding that next top tier level quarterback than just running Justin Fields out there. He's been out for what 3-4 years now, and there's no different result. Okay, so I don't know why people keep talking about it. The Bears are going to take quarterback with this pick. So I'm not going to have them trade. I apologize. My eye is itchy as hell right now. It's like, you know how like you get itchy right in the corner, dude, and it won't stop? That's what I got going. So I apologize for that. But yeah, so we're going to start it up. And NFL mock draft database has Drake May right now as the top guy. We don't really know how it's going to play out, but I would just say because Caleb Williams is most people's #1 quarterback. Right now, he's mine as well. He's been the #1 quarterback through this whole process to this point. But people like to push up other ones, get the conversation rolling, right? It's Caleb Williams is the best quarterback in this draft. I said last year Stroud was the best quarterback. People just jumped on this Bryce Young train, okay, and then they take him and look, they still suck. Okay, Stroud was the better option. I don't like Caleb Williams' attitude personally. I'm not a big fan of the guy, but as far as talent goes in this class, he has the most of it. So Chicago Bears go Caleb Williams with the first overall pick. Arizona now is up, and we're going to try to do this as realistic, I guess, as I possibly can. I think that You know, obviously they could take Marvin Harrison Jr. here, or they could trade out of this pick and maybe even still get him. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. Um, the only teams that you could that could be a possibility with really is either New England or the Giants. But if you know, give the Giants the second pick and move back to 5, you like New England's like if all the quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, New England's gonna probably take Marvin Harrison Jr. So you'd be out of luck there. Um, so let's make a trade. Let's have New England move up because they desperately need one. I mean, Mac Jones is obviously not it, right? So we're gonna, oops, we're gonna swap New England's 4th for the 2nd here. That way, Arizona can pick up a couple picks, just move back a couple slots so that they can still get a top tier wide receiver in Marvin Harrison Jr. if it plays out that way, which, because I'm doing it, not to spoil the 3rd pick, but it's going to turn out that way. All right, so let's see. New England gives up to move up 2 spots, might only take a 2nd round pick, you know? Or maybe we give them a 3rd instead. You gotta love not paying for for one of these Mox simulators because they don't work properly when they're free. Okay, they said a 3rd. It's not enough. Let's just, for sake of argument, we'll just give them the 2nd, which was probably what it would take, honestly. Anyways, I'm not big on knowing, you know, how much draft capital needs to be moved. I can take it. I can have a pretty good guess, but you're only moving 2 spots, so it's not anything dramatic. New England gives up their 2nd round pick, which will affect this mock because I'm doing 2 rounds to move up to take their quarterback of the future. And with that, obviously, it's either going to be Drake May or Jaden Daniels. I still think Jaden Daniels is going to be the 3rd quarterback taken. At least right now. We'll see how things start to play out. Plus, New England, like Drake May just feels like a New England pick. You know what I mean? Like they've never been huge on like mobile quarterbacks and things of that nature. So getting Jaden Daniels, you know, I think they're looking for more of a arm talent than a rushing talent. I mean, they did bring in Cam Newton, and it's not like he was any kind of crazy runner at the time that they brought him in, but things didn't work out as far as that went with like a rambling archetype quarterback. So we're going to go Drake May, number 2. And then here at number 3, Washington has given up on Sam Howell, or at least it appears to be the case. So all the hype surrounding Jaden Daniels, Heisman Trophy winner, did have a good year, but I was looking into some tape, and like there are some throwing issues that he has. Like a lot of times, at least from what I've seen, he's not on time on like some of the comeback routes or things like that. Now, of course, that could probably be fixed, but I don't know. I just don't feel like he's up to the level, at least throwing, that those other 2 quarterbacks are. But he's still going to be a top 5 pick, I'm sure. So Washington's going to take the chance with Jaden Daniels there at pick 3. And because they benched Sam Howell, you know, they're starting Jacoby Brissett. It appears that maybe Sam Howell's not the guy. Started off hot, looked like crap the last couple weeks. So I don't know how you give up on a guy that quick. You know, I might give him another chance because he did look somewhat decent. You know what I mean? He wasn't terrible all year. And the last couple weeks, he's in a slump or whatever, and they're just toss him out the door. But hey, what are you gonna do? Teams want a quarterback, and they want it now. All right. So Arizona moved back those 2 spots. They're still going to end up landing Marvin Harrison Jr. You need some pass catchers. You need everything, honestly, for the Cardinals. You know, they've been able to put together some good games, considering the fact that their roster is completely terrible. But yeah, you need to get as much draft capital as you can, basically, and start. I think putting a lot of it into the defense more so. Because I mean, Marquise Brown is a serviceable number 2. Now you got your one in Marvin Harrison Jr. Now you know you need to attack secondary, interior defensive line. You know they need a lot of help over there. All right, Giants are up now with pick 5, and this is going to be an easy one for me. You know, there's talk about Evan Neal's not really a great right tackle. Some people think he should kick into guard, and you should take a tackle with this pick. But literally, New York has done a horrible job in drafting wide receivers. Wan'Dale Robinson had a couple glimpses, you know, that he might be pretty decent. Hasn't really worked out. You know, they drafted Jalen Hyatt last year, barely use him. Okay, he's more just of a deep threat than anything. You know, not like a crisp route runner, or he's definitely not a number 1, obviously. They have a big mix of like kind of mediocre receivers, right? So I think, you know, you spend a first round pick on Evan Neal. And yes, you could kick him into guard and you can grab one of these tackles right here and solidify your offensive line. But then you're in another year with Daniel Jones because you weren't able to grab a quarterback, at least yet. Maybe they get one with their second rounder. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But you have no weapons. You know, Saquon Barkley can't be the only thing working for you on offense. Your quarterback situation is terrible. Your wide receivers are terrible. Darren Waller hasn't panned out like you thought he would. He was hurt most of the year. Go get you a number 1 wide receiver because you haven't had one since Odell Beckham Jr. left years ago, okay? So, you know, I remember the days of like Mario Manningham and the other guy that was there with him. Yeah. Hakeem Nicks and stuff, man. They were killing it. You got to go get you some weapons on this offense. Their defense is solid enough. You got to address the line, the quarterback, and the wide receiver position. So Malik Neighbors at pick 5. All right, Los Angeles Chargers are up. I think this one is like, could go a couple different ways. You could either go with a corner because they're, you know, J.C. Jackson didn't work out. He went back to New England. They're struggling in that department. You could upgrade Trey Pipkins on the right side, grab a tackle. Or you could go get Brock Bowers and upgrade on Gerald Everett. Get yourself another weapon in that offense because you're probably not going to have Mike Williams, I wouldn't assume, after this year. Keenan Allen's getting old. Like, you're going to need to upgrade or at least get some younger targets there for Herbert. And I think you could maybe do a better job at finding like a corner in free agency maybe than like getting a top tier tight end like Brock Bowers would be. I mean, he can play out of the tight end position. He can play out of the slot if you want him to. Seen him tore it up at Georgia, like massive yards every game. I mean, he's legit. He can block. He can do it. He's gonna do it all. Tight end. He's like probably the closest thing to Travis Kelce that you're gonna find, I would say. So let's just go with Brock Bowers here for the Chargers. All right, Tennessee. For me here on this one, it's either tackle or wide receiver. I think that if you have a chance at one of these top tackles, you obviously are going to take it here, okay? Because there's a lot of wide receiver talent in this draft, and there's a decent amount of tackle talent as well, but in comparison as far as value, like, I don't think, you know, like, how much better is Rome Odunze than, like, a Keon Coleman or, like, a Troy Franklin or Brian Thomas Jr.? Plus, you know, you're going out there and getting a number 2, at least right now, to DeAndre Hopkins. So, yeah, I'm going to wait on the receiver position, and we're just going to take whichever tackle you like here. They're 1A, 1B, basically. Same situation that we were talking about last year. I think you just, like, I think Fashanu probably has like the more upside. But I think Joe Alt is just going to be like solid as hell coming out of the gate, and they need to hit on the offensive line pick. Okay, like you got Skronsky last year, he's playing guard. You need that tackle, that left tackle. Okay, so I kind of want to go with just the more solid option, like the for sure thing. Not that Fashanu isn't, but I think just right out of the gate, Joe Alt's going to be a little more solid. Um, Maybe lower ceiling but high floor kind of deal. So let's just go with Joe Alt with 7th pick there. And now Chicago's back up on the board. I kind of like the idea of Rome Odunze here for the Bears. Their defense has played, I think, well enough as of late that you can address that a little later. It's either going to be the tackle, Fashanu, or going and getting another weapon, because outside of DJ Moore, you have a good tight end with Cole Kmet. You need somebody other than like Darnell Mooney. Okay, like nothing else is working besides DJ Moore. I think you need to just, you're bringing Caleb Williams in. You want him to succeed. Give him some weapons. He has DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, and personally, I really want to just grab Rome Odunze here. But can we move down and still get him? If somebody wants to come up for Fashanu. I'm doing this on the fly, by the way, so let me work through my mind here. If you would move back, like New Orleans, Green Bay, they could use tackles. They might want to move up, but like, I'm pretty sure if Fashanu goes off the board, Odunze is going to go to the Jets or the Falcons because they need receiver that bad. Let's just stick and pick, and let's just take Rome Odunze right now. Play opposite side of DJ Moore. Been nice to move back and gather maybe a pick or two, but I'd just be too scared that the Jets, because other than Garrett Wilson, they have nobody. Atlanta, other than Drake London, they have nobody. And they have other things they could address as well, but like, I think Rome Odunze is like the last guy in that upper tier wide receiver. Now there's plenty of good wide receivers. I'm not saying that, but like, as far as like the which ones I think are going to be like elite. Those top 3 that I picked, Odunze, Neighbors, and Harrison Jr. are like the top tier. All right, the Jets are up now, and they're happy because even though they could use a wide receiver, Fashanu's still sitting here. They need to figure out the tackle spot. That's been the talk of the draft for like the last 3 years. They keep trying to address it, but it's not working out. So let's just go get Fashanu right now. Hopefully that pans out, because Mekhi Becton didn't. I digress. All right, so Atlanta. Do what we want to do with them. Does Bo Nix come into the conversation here at pick 10? Or Michael Penix Jr.? I don't think so. Ritter, I think, is terrible. But he didn't play like super bad. Like more towards the end of the year. They still need to address it, but I think it is a little still too early. And if you want to take, like, if Nix is like your pick you want to go with, I think you can move back for it, or try to get a quarterback in the 2nd round. Because I favor Nix a little more so than Penix Jr., but I think one of them is going to be, at least one of them is going to be available in round 2, possibly. And there's just such good talent sitting here. I don't know why you would take a swing on someone like Nix right now when you could, like Dallas Turner, arguably the best edge in the class, or Latu, most productive edge in the class. You could get someone opposite side of AJ Terrell with McKinstry or Wiggins or, Cooper DeJean. I mean, there's Harry Arnold's been screaming up draft boards. Or they take the wide receiver now because other than Drake London, you don't have anyone, which I'm kind of convincing myself into doing. They could use some more like pass rush, but I think I was reading they don't have a single wide receiver on their roster after they're all free agents, right? Besides Drake London, so you need to get another receiver anyways, and you're short on them to this point because you're not going to be able to resign all those guys. So I'm gonna go. You know what? I'm gonna go out of the realm a little bit here and just get you someone solid as hell. Okay, because we all know that he's solid. He gets a lot of hate for who knows what reason. He's a great receiver. He could play outside or slot. But I'm gonna take Emeka Ibuka here for Atlanta, actually, because you could go Keon Coleman to be on the other outside of Drake London, but I think having like a nice, sure-handed underneath target, even though Atlanta doesn't throw the football for whatever fucking reason, excuse my language, they ruin Kyle Pitts. Hopefully they don't ruin Emeka Ibuka. I'm going with him at 10. Okay, pick number 11. New Orleans is up. Yeah, it's gonna be like either a defensive or offensive line here. J.C. Latham still sitting here. They need a tackle. Um, sorry, Saints fans, it's kind of been the pick that most people do for you is a tackle. You know what? I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. I think, or you get some fun in going in here. They also need some wide receivers. Shaheed's played pretty well. Michael Thomas probably gonna move on from him. You got Olave. That's it. And since they're not really in a position to like upgrade Derek Carr, I mean, you could go get Knicks. I kind of just like the idea of going and getting Michael Thomas's replacement in Keon Coleman. Go Keon Coleman for the Saints to play with Olave and Shaheed. All right, Green Bay is up, and they're fairly happy that I just did that because now they're gonna go offensive tackle to replace Bakhtiari, or maybe you upgrade Zach Tom. But Bakhtiari's obviously towards the end of his road. So we're going to just go get J.C. Latham while he's still there. Because a lot of teams need tackle. Alright, Las Vegas. They're up, and I know it's only 3 picks later, but now I'm really starting to think about Bo Nix. Because, I mean, Aiden O'Connell is serviceable. Still backup. You know what I mean? He's going to be a career backup in my mind. Garoppolo, thanks. I mean, there is a lot of defensive talent left, but the Raiders' defense has actually been playing damn good as of late. Maybe you can address that in rounds 2 through 7. Okay. The receivers are okay enough with Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers. You need a quarterback. You just need to take a swing. So we're gonna swing it on Bo Nix, 13th pick. Denver Broncos are now a little upset because it seems that they're moving on from Russell Wilson. They're benching him so that he doesn't get hurt because they plan to release him. At least what it seems. And they're just going to eat all that money all that guaranteed money that they're paying him. I mean, that sucks. You know, you go out, you think you get like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He comes in and shits a brick. That sucks. I don't know what to say. Just rebuild. So, for them, we're going to go get one of these top edges now. It sucks because even in the last mock I did, like the edges got pushed down, and they're really great talents, but there's just these teams need other things, like more so, in the beginning of this draft. So we're gonna take one of the edges here. Let's go with Dallas Turner to Denver. All right, Minnesota is up at 15. Daniil Hunter been playing his butt off. I think they may re-sign him. Marcus Davenport, however, is a free agent as well, who is the other edge. So in this case, I'm gonna probably take an edge. Latu, I think, even though he was really the most productive edge, ceiling isn't super high like some of these other guys, for one. And two, he had a neck injury previously that caused him to medically retire. We hear it on everybody's stream, everybody's podcast. So I think just because the injury, because most times that does, people get a little leery about that, so they tend to, those guys tend to fall a little bit. So in that case, I'm going to go get Jared Verse for the Minnesota Vikings here to replace Marcus Davenport. And hopefully they can address quarterback later on in the draft. Or maybe next year. Or maybe go trade for Justin Fields since Caleb Williams just got taken. Whatever. Alright. Arizona is back up on the board, and we can literally go anywhere on the defensive side of the ball. Because they're sticking with Kyler Murray. Got Marvin Harrison Jr. now. McBride's playing crazy. Offense seems to be pretty well, besides, like, you could probably upgrade on James Conner, but none of these running backs are like first round picks this year. So, address that later. We're going to go probably either Jazon Newton, corner, or edge. Pick your poison. There's a lot of corners left. None of them have even been taken to this point. So, with that being the case, you could get the top corner that you believe is the top corner in this class, or the edges are starting to like die out a little bit, right? And there's two top tier edges left, Latu, but I think, like I said, I think he's gonna drop a little bit. We're gonna go get Chop Robinson for Arizona with their second first round pick. Plus, for whatever reason, Penn State players, they seem to really work out. Okay, Penn State defensive players. So I'm taking a swing on Chop there. All right, Pittsburgh, my team is up. We need everything. No, I'm kidding. The defense is the best part about our team. You can continue to add to that with, a corner. You go wide receiver because George Pickens, he's a great receiver. Has sort of an attitude problem, which I don't blame him because, like last week he tore it up. But all those weeks that he was playing lazy and stuff like that and not putting in effort and everything like that, that pisses me off, to be frank. But at the same time, like, I can understand it because, like, our offensive coordinators are not drawing up plays to get him involved. I mean, he is the best receiver on our roster, and they barely throw him the football. So I can understand the selfishness a little bit. Like, I might be a little ticked as well if, nobody's throwing to me. Hell, they're barely even throwing at all. But yes, I mean, I can understand his frustrations with it. But, Deontay Johnson, I think he's a great route runner and separator, but he can't catch for whatever reason. You play wide receiver and you drop a lot of balls. Outside of that, though, there's not anything cooking. So you could target wide receiver, but in this draft, with there not being any corners taken, I'm going to go corner right off the bat. Who's the first corner coming off? It could be McKinstry, Wiggins, Cooper DeJean, which some say he can play safety as well. You might take him if you want a safety. Perrion Arnold's been moving up the draft boards, but in this case, I'm going to go with I'm just going to go with the most solid guy that I think, could play opposite of Joey Porter Jr. And it's going to be Like, I really like Terrion Arnold, but Kool-Aid McKinstry is the number one corner, you know, on that Alabama team. And you know, maybe his stats aren't going crazy because maybe they're not targeting that wide receiver he's covering because he's too good. Whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go Kool-Aid McKinstry for the Steelers there at 17. Cincinnati. This to me is no question. Well, there is a question. You could either go with a tackle or go Jerzon Newton here. You just had DJ Reader hurt for the season. He's done for the year. I don't know when they're going to get him back. Outside of him, there's nobody really in that defensive interior to replace Reader. Plus, the interior defensive line class, there's some guys in this class, but there's a plethora of tackles and a plethora of defensive line players. So which one you think you're going to get the most production from? I think it's going to be Jerzon Newton. I think you could address tackle later on, like maybe like a Tyler Guyton or something, second round. Let's just go get somebody to fill that middle and hopefully get you some pass rush and stop the run because you need to do that. All right, Tampa Bay. Good look for a receiver to place Mike Evans if he walks. But I think you definitely need some pass rush. You could use some secondary help as well. But I think this is where the Latu fall stops. I'm going to take Latu at pick 19 there for Tampa Bay. All right, Indianapolis is up. You need a true number one corner. Could take a receiver. Could go play opposite of Michael Pittman. Downs is in the slot. Could get that other outside guy. Or there's still, these top tier corners left. There's some wide receivers left in here. Maybe you could snag one around two. Let's go Nate Wiggins to the Colts at 20. All right. Moving right along. Seattle. Defensive line. What they need. Or a quarterback of the future. But there's not really anyone besides Michael Penix. I know. Let's see which ones they have listed here. Like JJ McCarthy could be an option. Sit behind Geno Smith. Maybe you take him. You don't have a second round pick. I'm only doing 2 rounds here, so maybe we go JJ McCarthy, and you can ride out Geno for a couple of years while McCarthy learns under him. Quinn Ewers probably going back to school. Other than that, shoosh, not really much going on. So maybe you just take defensive line right now, and I don't think McCarthy will make it to the 3rd round, but at that point, you're just riding with Geno until you figure it out. So let's go with Braylon Trice for Seattle there. Get him another edge. All right, Jacksonville. I could obviously go offensive line. I kind of like the idea, though, of getting another wide receiver. You already have Christian Kirk, Ridley. Could use another outside guy. Zay Jones is, he's serviceable. But I don't know. It just seems like the Jaguars are good, but it just seems like they just can't get over that lip. And maybe bringing in another wide receiver talent can just push them over the edge. You already got great running back, Trevor Lawrence, you know what I mean? He's good. So yeah, let's go wide receiver, screw it. And we're looking for an outside guy. How about a nice deep threat and Brian Thomas? Go Brian Thomas Jr. to Jacksonville. Play opposite side of Ridley, Christian Kirk slot, Evan Ingram in the tight end, ETN running back. It's all coming together. All right, the Rams. What do we want to do for the Rams? I feel like they need another. They need a corner. Because we're still feeling the effects of Jalen Ramsey leaving. um, could go offensive line as well. Um, I think I'm gonna still. I think I'm gonna go corner here for the Rams. Let's go with Terrion Arnold. Just because Cooper DeJean, like I said, like he can play both safety corner. I think we just go with like a true corner here for the Rams. Terrion Arnold's been soaring up the boards, and we're gonna take him with the Rams at 23. And I promise I didn't set that up, but Buffalo is gonna go Cooper DeJean here at 24. They need corner help and safety help, so you get him. He's versatile. You can put him in either spot. Because Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. I think they're both free agents. Maybe they both leave. Maybe just one stays. Whatever. They both stay. You put them at corner. One leaves. Put them at safety. Whatever you want to do, right? So it just seems like the Buffalo pick for me. All right, Kansas City. I don't know if. Let's see if I don't know if Amarius Mims is coming out. I don't particularly know where to go to check that. I don't know. It seems like this mock draft, NFL mock draft database simulator. I mean, they took off all the quarterbacks that aren't coming out. Maybe he's still undecided. Let's just, since he's here, we're gonna use it. I don't know if I'm going with him for the Chiefs yet. Maybe. Probably. Could take a swing at another wide receiver. Because like Rashee Rice is one of the only ones we got doing anything. But I think we just go with the tackle here, and we can get a decent wide receiver later on to add to your wide receiver room. See what see what you can make shake with it. Obviously, Mahomes, like, they're still winning games, still throwing the football to these guys, and they're making do, right? I think you just got to address the line. So, plus Amarius Mims, as far as talent goes, as far as like the value goes here, I think that'll pay off more so than going down and getting like an A.D. Mitchell or an Xavier Worthy or Troy Franklin. So let's just go with Mims. See if we can address wide receiver in the second there for Kansas City. Dallas. I kind of want to take a wide receiver for Dallas too. The CeeDee Lamb, the only one really doing it. Michael Gallup is wash. He's never been good in my opinion. Brandon Cooks, is okay, but is he gone after this year? He's older as well. I think we go wide receiver here for Dallas. Let's actually go with A.D. Mitchell here for Dallas. Get them another outside wide receiver to go along with CeeDee Lamb there. All right, Houston. What do we want to do with Houston? This site has their top need as a wide receiver. Tank Dell, awesome. Nico Collins, awesome. Noah Brown, even looking awesome. Still haven't seen enough from John Mechie yet. I think we're okay there for right now. Maybe you could take one later on just to take a swing at something, but right now I think we just get somebody to go opposite of what's his name? Blanken. I don't know why I'm struggling to think of his damn name. Will Anderson Jr. Jesus. Yeah, every once in a while I have those mind blanks. Yeah, maybe we go get another edge to go opposite of Will Anderson Jr. Or you could go corner, get somebody to go along with Stingley there. Or you could even take a swing at safety. Because their safeties are pretty bad. What I want to do. Let's just go with, or maybe even like Leonard Taylor. Get him for the middle. Or Devondre Sweat. You know what? We're running out of edges. So let's get the edge now. Let's go JT Tuimoloau for Houston. And maybe we could address, because there hasn't been too many corners that come off. There's been no safeties. So let's just go get the edge now. Maybe we can address that later. Detroit. It's going to be corner. Because, Cam Sutton's the only one really worth anything there in that position. Plus, he's more of like I think he's still playing their nickel safety, corner. So yeah, I'd like to get an outside corner, and I've been putting Kamari Lassiter there every time, and I think I'm still gonna do it. So let's go with Lassiter there for Detroit. Miami is up. They run the football as much as they throw it. They look great on offense. Could use a tackle. Why not go get Talise Fuaga? He shouldn't even have fell this far probably because there's a lot of tackle needy teams. And let's just keep Raheem Mostert scoring touchdowns. Get Talise Fuaga for Miami there. They lucked out on that one. All right. A lot of people have Graham Barton going to Miami if Fuaga goes earlier because he can play anywhere on the line. Profiles more as a guard though. All right. Same thing with like Faltanu. A lot of people think he might be a guard in the league. All right, Philadelphia up. I'm gonna go Kalen King here for Philly. They could go a couple different ways. We know they like to build the trenches and whatnot, but Darius Slay, he's getting older. Bradbury sucks, in my opinion. So I'm gonna take Kalen King, get them another corner there. And now San Francisco, they kind of needed the same thing, but what do we want to do with San Fran? Let's go with Troy Faltanu. I think we keep building the offensive line. I think Graham Barton is more so a guard. Like Faltanu, I think could pan out as a tackle, possibly. I think he still could be a better guard, but worst case scenario, you kick him in. You know what I mean? And you keep protecting Brock Purdy. They're winning games. Just keep building the trenches. Let's go Faltanu for Sam. All right, Baltimore. I think it's going to be a receiver for me. They could go, somewhere on the defense as well, but I don't know. Like Odell Beckham is pretty mid at this point. Zay Flowers had a decent rookie season, but other than that, there's not too many weapons. They're still doing it. They're still winning games even without Mark Andrews, but I think you still need to go get somebody else. and bring him in there. I don't want to do Xavier Worthy because he's more of a smaller guy, and I don't want to get the same type of receiver as like Zay Flowers. But I think we're gonna go with one of the last bigger guys left, and we're gonna go get Xavier Legette for Baltimore. All right, Carolina, same thing. They need wide receivers bad. And it's pretty sad when like old Adam Thielen is the only guy that you got doing anything. Only, and you have to give Bryce Young weapons because he didn't have the greatest rookie season, but he also has nobody to throw the ball to. Okay, like no tight end. You know, Jonathan Mingo is mid at least right now. Adam Thielen's good, but he's older. I mean, you got to build around your guy. You know what I mean? It's an easy pick. It's simple. And let's go with here. We got let's go Troy Franklin for Carolina. All right, Arizona. Okay, you know what? I'm thinking. So it's still going to be defense here. We've got no corners. For me, the pick is either going to be Denzel Burke or Leonard Taylor or T'Vondre Sweat. One of those three. With Sweat still being here, there is a decent amount of interior defensive linemen this class left. Corner is starting to get a little dicey. Yeah, I mean there's still some decent ones. Let's do it. Let's go get corner. Let's get Denzel Burke for Arizona. We're just gonna keep building that defense up with their last couple picks. Oh, they picked twice in a row. Dude, I forgot. We traded down so that New England could move up, took their second round pick, so we get to pick twice. And so I'm not even gonna argue it. Let's go Leonard Taylor right there. Boom, bang, bomb. And now you got an edge, defensive interior, corner. Starting to build it up a little bit there. All right, Washington. Um, need a linebacker. Could get another corner. Offensive tackle is a need. I think we're gonna go with the tackle, and we're gonna go Jordan Morgan here. Go with Jordan Morgan for the Washington Commanders. All right, Chargers still need that corner position. Kenyon Mitchell looks great, but because he plays for Toledo, like he might get pushed down. Like I don't get as much, the good competition per se that some of those other corners did. But I'm willing to take a chance on him here. I feel like you kind of got a hit on this. And as far as corners go, I like TJ Tampa, but I just think you might, I think Mitchell might have the most upside. So let's go with Mitchell there for Chargers. Tennessee, we took Joe Alt. Could upgrade the tight end position because Aquan Crow is like mediocre. Or we go wide receiver, which I think we may do because we passed on that. Traylon Burks sucks. D Hop's old. And if you're gonna build around Levis, yeah, you got to get him some weapons. Let's go Xavier Worthy. Have him play out of the slot or something. For Tennessee, and he's fast, so nice deep threat for you. All right, so now we got New York, and this might be the spot where I snag Graham Barton. He's fallen a little bit, but you try him out at tackle. If you want to move Evan Neal inside, maybe he works out at tackle. Maybe you keep Evan Neal on as your right tackle, and then you can move Barton as a guard. Obviously, that's going to be the pick there for me because he can play anywhere on the offensive line. So wherever you feel like the worst play is coming out of, you just plug in Barton. All right, Green Bay. I think this might be where the first safety comes off. Because they need secondary help there. And, you know, the corners left, we got TJ Tampa, might be the only one that I'm, like, willing to take in this spot. But all these safeties are still sitting here. I'm going to go Tyler Newman to Green Bay. Washington. All right. I'm just going to do it. I do it every time, pretty much with their second round pick. I'm going to take Jatavion Sanders to Washington because you need to get somebody younger, upgrade that tight end position over what's his face? There goes another mind blank. You know who I'm talking about. Why do I struggle? Logan Thomas. God. Yeah. Logan Thomas is fine. He's been pretty decent, you know, pretty consistent the last few years, but at some point, you know, he's getting older. You're gonna have to replace him, and I think that upgrades him right there. Philadelphia. Feeling like it's probably either offensive line. Maybe you take the first linebacker off the board, or you go get a safety in Cameron Kinchens. Let's take Kingsley Suamataia. I don't even know how you say it, to be honest with you. Suamataia. There we go. Let's take him because I feel like, you know, I think he might have like some pretty good upside, and you can sit him underneath, you know, Lane Johnson, let him learn, and then when Lane retires, you know, you just plug him in. So let's go with him there. Green Bay. We took tackle and safety. I don't know. Like, could go wide receiver. I think Jaden Reed's gonna be good. Romeo Dobbs has looked pretty decent at times. And then, you know, Christian Watson, he had a down year, but like I think he could still pan out. Maybe you go with the corner. Let's do that. Their secondary just need somebody opposite Jair. They needed a safety. We got that already. Let's give them TJ Tampa. All right, Las Vegas Raiders. Bo Nix. See here. I think I'm gonna take Devondre Sweat here, because you do need some defensive interior help. I mean, Max Crosby is like the only one really producing on your defensive line. And Sweat is just too good to pass on here. I just gotta take him for the Raiders. Saints are back up. They needed a tackle. They decided to opt out and go for Keon Coleman, which it worked out because we still have Patrick Paul and Tyler Guyton here that they could still take one. And that's or they could just, you know, take JJ McCarthy. Not that you'd want to learn under Derek Carr, but maybe you do. I don't know. Or you'd take Michael Penix. Man, this is a tough one because they do need that tackle. See what quarterback needy teams we got left here. Minnesota, Atlanta. Giants. Not that I want to set myself up or anything, but there's no tackles really left after these two guys. We're gonna go Tyler Guyton for the Saints. Ride it out with Derek Carr just a little while longer. All right, Minnesota. This is where one of the quarterbacks I think is coming off for me. Michael Penix Jr. Start him right away. JJ McCarthy. If you bring back Cousins, sit under him for a year maybe. Which one? Penix has an injury history, JJ McCarthy does not. I think I'm just gonna go JJ McCarthy here for Minnesota Vikings. And now we got Atlanta up. They also could use the quarterback position, which I think I just feel like I have to do it at this point. Ritter is at least bring in some competition for him. We'll at least say that with Michael Penix. I mean, I would assume they'd obviously start Michael Penix right away if they were to take him, which I'm going to. But worst case scenario, they battle for the job, right? All right, Pittsburgh. I would love me some Ladd McConkey in Pittsburgh. I would. But Patrick Paul sitting here. The offensive line is still an issue. You know, you could get Paul, start him at left tackle, Broderick Jones be your right, or you swap. Dan Moore is not the answer. Okay, we need to get him out of here. They also could use a center like Mason Cole. He had a good year last year, but this year he's been pretty shit. You go safety, upgrade upon, you know, KZ with pensions. Oof. I don't know, dude. This is a tough one. There's no tackles really left. I feel like I just have to go. I feel like I have to go with the tackle, even though I don't like my like the big play ability. My heart wants to go for like McConkey or Kinchins. Let's just go with Patrick Paul. We have to, because especially because Cincinnati would probably take him here if we didn't. So this is where maybe Ladd McConkey ends up, or Jalen Polk. Because I don't know if Higgins is going to be back. You know, even if he does, Tyler Boyd, I think, is probably out too. So, with no tackles being left, I feel like that's the pick. Take a wide receiver. And I just like Ladd McConkey, dude. I'm going Ladd McConkey for Cincinnati. Houston is up. And hey, we're just going BPA here. They ended up getting lucky, 50th pick. Cam Kinchins to Houston with the 50th pick. All right, Colts. They could still use that receiver opposite of Pittman. We could take Jalen Polk, Johnny Wilson. I don't know how I'd like that though, like Johnny Wilson and Pittman, two like super tall guys outside. I mean, that's fine, because then you got the short little downs a lot. But let's go Jalen Polk here for the Colts. All right, Giants are up. They're upset because there's no quarterbacks left. Kind of hoping one would fall to them. They could have. They had their chance though. They could have taken one of those guys at 39. But you know, you paid Daniel Jones a bunch of money. Don't ask me why. I said that when they did it. But whatever. You have a down year again. Maybe you get one next draft. It is what it is. Or maybe the New York Giants, because they have a lot of other pieces, right? Okay, we've got Malik Neighbors now. Darren Waller, hopefully still the tight end that you thought he was going to be. You know, maybe you go out and trade for the Justin Fields, right? Because obviously in this draft we took Caleb Williams. Like, Justin Fields is going to end up on one of these teams. So maybe they go trade for him, like a future pick, future second, whatever. I would have added that into this mock draft, but I use this site and they don't allow you to like trade players, or else we could have incorporated that somehow with like picks from this draft going to the Bears for Fields. But maybe they wait after the draft, and because I mean they had a decent amount of picks in this draft, maybe they try to get some future picks too. You know, swing them later for some future draft revenue. All right. So what do we want to do for the Giants here? It's kind of hard because we already addressed kind of the offensive line area. We got the receiver. Could use a linebacker, I guess. Defensive interior. Could get another edge to go opposite of Thibodeau. Yeah, Braswell's still here. Maybe we just make the pick. I think you just got to go like maybe best player available right now because I'm not really seeing like anything that's like standing out to me. Edgerrin Cooper, Jeremiah Trotter, Kalen Bullock. I think their safeties are okay enough. I mean, they've been Jabril Peppers and Julian Love. Let's go with Braswell. Screw it. All right, Jacksonville could have used Braswell themselves. That sucks. What do I want to do? I'm thinking because we didn't get like an offensive line pick with the first one. We opted for wide receiver. Maybe we take like Cedric Van Pran or Jackson Powers Johnson, or maybe like I like Christian Haynes if you want to guard, or maybe we go corner to get somebody other than Tyson Campbell. Well, on the other side of Tyson Campbell. Or maybe we go defensive interior. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, don't know right now. Might be a little rich, a little possibly early. There's people that are high on Christian Haynes, like myself. Let's go get Christian Haynes. Screw it. Oh, they graded me a C. Why? Because this particular draft board. Care about that. All right, Los Angeles Rams. Pick 54. We already addressed corner. Could upgrade at tight end, but there's nothing, nothing really crazy there that I'd want. Wide receiver, like, are you satisfied? Well, I guess you have Nacua and Cup. So, you could use a third, but like Tutu Atwell's been fine. Let's just go Jack Sawyer here. I mean, they do need an edge player, but like we kind of hit that pretty hard. Or Jonah Ellis, we could do Jonah Ellis. One of those two, though. Let's take Ellis for the Rams there. All right, Tampa Bay. We got the edge. I think the D line needs a little help, or you go get another like a defensive back. What do we have left wide receiver wise? Johnny Wilson. Maybe you get Johnny Wilson. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Because if Mike Williams leaves, Johnny Wilson's what, 6'7", somewhat replacing that height that you just lob it up to your boy. Kind of like it. Let's go Johnny Wilson for the Bucks there. All right, now the Buffalo Bills are up, and we took Cooper DeJean. They could use some defensive line, but if I go Kalen Bullock here, then you obviously plug him into safety if one of those, if Hyde or Hoyer is gone, and then you still play Cooper DeJean at corner. That would basically make the decision for you. You take Kalen Bullock, he can play the safety spot, and Cooper plays the corner, and then you don't have to decide whether you want Cooper at safety or. Could do that, or you could get like Chris Jenkins. Probably be my next defensive interior pick. Because we took him for the versatility of it, I'm gonna go Chris Jenkins for Buffalo. Fill the gap, because they do get ran on a lot. All right, Kansas City offensive tackle. We took Mims. We wanted a receiver, but we kind of got So some people have been pushing up Devontae Walker a lot. He's not high on this particular draft board, but I particularly am a little higher on him. I actually forgot that he was even here. Probably, I could have even taken that for the Bucks. But I do like the 6'7". Like if Mike Williams does walk, like it's kind of a nice replacement for him. Kansas City, they don't have too many needs. You could go with the safety in Kalen Bullock because you haven't really had one since Honey Badger left, like a top tier guy. What do we like more? I think we go Devontae Walker, Jermaine Burton, one of the two. Let's go with Walker. They just need some more weapons there, even though they're still throwing it decently well. They need weapons. Cleveland Browns, they also need a wide receiver. Let's go. They only have this one pick, at least in this. They didn't have a first round. It's either D-line or wide receiver for me here. Or you take the first running back, whichever one you want. Because maybe, that Nick Chubb injury looked pretty severe. But Jerome Ford's been good. I think they just need more. I think they need weapons, dude. Like Njoku went crazy this past week yesterday. Because he's the only one to throw to when Amari Cooper's out. Let's go Jermaine Burton for them. Whatever. They need some more wide receivers there. Dallas Cowboys. They could use a Kalen Bullock or one of these. None of these linebackers have gone off yet. We could do a linebacker. Or like, Pollard was like okay, but maybe you get a running back. Let's take Edgerrin Cooper. Get the first linebacker off. Detroit is up. I think I'm gonna go with. So I kind of want to go defensive line. Like basically all their problems are their defense right now. We could take Jeremiah Trotter, or we could go with I'm thinking either Michael Hall or Jack Sawyer or Brandon Dorless. I kind of like the idea of Dorless because you could either put him inside or out. You could possibly do both. I think that's where I might go. Just for the versatility of it. And he's a good player, so yeah, we're going to go Dorless there for Detroit. Philadelphia is up, and this is where I'm going to take Kalen Bullock. Because I don't know how long did they get Gardner Johnson for? Is that just a 1 year? Or regardless, even if he sticks around, Blankenship's pretty dog water. Let's get Bullock. And Philly just sits and picks, and they end up doing fairly well every single time. All right. Miami. I'm thinking center. Because Connor Williams or whatever, he might be out the dough. Cedric Van Pran. Let's go Jackson Powers Johnson to Miami. Yeah. D plus. Whew, get out of here, boy. It's a good pick. This site is bullshit. All right. All right, San Francisco. How many picks we got? 2 left, huh? San Francisco. They need secondary for sure. That's their main issue, really, besides the line that we addressed earlier. Yeah. Let's go Josh Newton. Let's get him a corner there. And Baltimore, last pick. They really needed corner. Yeah. There's still some here, like DJ James. You could also go running back too, because which I actually might do that here. Take the first running back. Because obviously, like, Dobbins is a piece of shit. I mean, he's literally hurt every 5 seconds. Most fragile running back I've ever seen. And you've been kind of struggling with the other options. I mean, well, Keaton Mitchell has been pretty good. Take it back. Maybe Keaton Mitchell is the future. I feel like it's defensive line. Let's just go Jack Sawyer here. End the draft out. Because, you know, their defensive line players are on the older side. And they're going to have to get younger there. So we're going to go with Jack Sawyer here with the last pick. So just to recap, real fast. Caleb Williams goes number 1 to the Bears. Drake May to the Patriots. Jaden Daniels to the Commanders. Cardinals moved down out of 2, swapped with the Patriots. They still get Marvin Harrison Jr. at 4. Malik Neighbors goes to the Giants. Brock Bowers to the Chargers. Joe Alt to the Titans. Rome Odunze to the Bears. Fashanu goes to the Jets. Egbuka goes to Atlanta. Keon Coleman goes to the Saints. J.C. Latham to Green Bay. Bo Nix to the Raiders. Dallas Turner goes to Denver. Jared Verse goes to Minnesota. Chop Robinson goes to Arizona. Kool-Aid McKinstry to the Steelers. Jerzon Newton to the Bengals. Latu ends up in Tampa. Nate Wiggins goes to the Colts. Braylon Trice to the Seahawks. Brian Thomas Jr. to the Jaguars. Terrion Arnold to the Rams. Cooper DeJean to the Buffalo. Marius Mims to Kansas City. A.D. Mitchell goes to the Cowboys. J.T. Tuimoloau to the Texans. Kamari Lassiter to Detroit. Talise Fuaga goes to Miami. Kalen King to Philly. Troy Faltanu goes to San Fran. Xavier Legette goes to Ravens. Second round, we got Troy Franklin going to the Panthers. Denzel Burke to the Cardinals. Leonard Taylor to the Cardinals, as they received that Patriots second round pick from the move up. Jordan Morgan goes to Washington. Kenyon Mitchell goes to the Chargers. Xavier Worthy to the Titans. Graham Barton goes to New York. Tyler Nubbin goes to Green Bay. Jatavian Sanders goes to the Commanders. Kingsley Suamatea goes to Philly. TJ Tampa to the Packers. Raiders get T'Vondre Sweat. Saints get Tyler Guyton. Minnesota goes J.J. McCarthy. Atlanta goes Michael Penix. Patrick Paul goes to the Steelers. Ladd McConkey to the Bengals. Cameron Kinchins to Houston. Jalen Polk to the Colts. Chris Braswell to the Giants. Christian Haynes goes to the Jaguars. Jonah Ellis goes to the Rams. Johnny Wilson to the Bucks. Chris Jenkins to Buffalo. Devontae Walker to Kansas City. Jermaine Burton to the Browns. Edgerrin Cooper goes to the Cowboys. Brendan Dorlus goes to the Lions. Kalen Bullock to the Eagles. Jackson Powers Johnson to Miami. Josh Newton to San Fran. And Jack Sawyer to the Ravens. All in all, I felt like it went pretty well. You know, the site tried to give me a couple bad grades on my picks. That's malarkey. Okay. All these picks I made, the teams needed these positions. Okay. Like Jackson Powers Johnson, they give me a D+ for that. He's the best center in the class. They need one. If Connor Williams is gone, not a bad pick. So get out of here. Plus, they had him ranked 77th overall on the site. Took him 62. Are we really that mad about it? I don't think so. Yeah, I love it. Feel free to comment, down below if you guys think I should have done something else. If you agree with the picks I made for your favorite team, I'd really appreciate it. Please comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you'd like to know when I go live. I will be doing a lot more of these mock drafts as the cycle continues. Especially I'll be hammering them out, especially closer towards the draft, of course. But then I also, if you're a video game type of guy, like I play Grand Theft Auto roleplay. Haven't played in a few months, but I make music for that. I'm a rapper. My character is a rapper in roleplay, so I do make rap music. Feel free to look at some other videos and check out some of my music if you want to. There's some songs on there. Also, I got to figure out. I got the Twitch black screen right now. When I go live, so I got to figure that out. But I will be streaming Call of Duty as well because me and my buddies we play hardcore search. I'd say I'm fairly good at it. I do get in the 20s as far as kills go, like fairly often in hardcore search. So if that interests you guys, like I said, hit the notification bell, let you know when I go live or drop a video. I would also, if I get back into roleplay, the GTA roleplay, I'd like to stream more of that as well. Took a long break from streaming, but we're back in it now. We've got NFL to talk about. We've got, if you like watching me play Warzone or hardcore search, that's pretty much the only two things that I do play when I do Call of Duty, and then GTA roleplay stuff. If that interests you at all, I'd really appreciate it. And thank you for everybody that watches or tunes in. I'll see you in the next one.